Hey everyone, Jason Evans here. I'm a mortgage loan officer at Rate in Massachusetts. Today I want to talk about why I'm talking to so many home buyers that are concerned about the housing market and if now's the right time to buy, and why it's so easy to get confused if you're looking at online articles and headlines. So just a couple examples I just pulled up from today. And I'm going to talk about why they're misleading and why waiting till rates drop is not the best strategy for buying a house. Okay, so first of all, this article on realtor.com, a site a lot of people turn to for housing information. It says, homeowners are behind on mortgage payments. See where your state ranks. All right, so if you just read this headline, you would think people are missing mortgage payments everywhere. Delinquency is skyrocketing, and there's probably gonna be a lot of foreclosures in the future, which people think means they can get some really good deals, and there's going to be distressed sales everywhere, easy money, buy homes cheaply and get a great deal, right? Well, the truth is mortgage delinquencies are coming off some of the best periods ever in terms of being at record lows. Nobody's missing their payments. Very few people are missing their payments because they have so much equity in the home. They're going to do whatever they can to maintain the right to that equity and make sure their payments are being made on time. So again, homeowners are behind on mortgage payments. See where your state ranks. They have a map here, and the map shows different states and the year-over-year change in delinquency rates, which remind you are coming off record lows. So Massachusetts, where I am, yes, delinquency rates rose year over year. They rose by 0.03%. 0.03% is the amount they increased the delinquencies. So yeah, delinquencies are on the rise, 0.03%. Other states, California, 0.09%. Nevada, 0.03%. Oregon, Washington, 0.03%. Tennessee, 0.09%. So I'm just reading off some random states here, but they're not skyrocketing, they're not super high, they're coming off all-time record lows, and they're going up by 0.0 something percent. The highest state I see on this map, Florida, okay? The highest state of increase year-over-year delinquencies, and it increased 0.38%. So again, if you just look at the headline, homeowners are behind on mortgage payments, you're thinking there's this huge growing trend, this huge problem. It's not at that point yet, not even close to it. So don't expect a ton of foreclosures coming on the market anytime soon. Another article here, this one says on CNBC, says weekly mortgage demand plummets as rates and economic concerns rise. Okay, so if you're a consumer and you see this, you're like, why did everybody just stop applying for loans? What's going on here? Well, this report came out on July 16th, and the reporting period for it was the prior Saturday to the prior Friday. Guess what? That was 4th of July weekend and the week immediately after. Not a lot of people were out at open houses or even listing their homes for sale on the weekend of July 4th. Therefore, that following week, not a lot of people were applying for loans to make offers on homes they had just seen. So it makes sense that there was less demand that week. People are on vacation, there's less activity in general, that's to be expected. So this stuff fluctuates from week to week all the time. Another thing they referenced in the headline was rates rise. Well, guess what? The rate, according to this survey, went from 6.77% all the way up to 6.82%. That's a 0.05% increase, not a very significant week over week increase, very average from what we see typically. If the rates went down 0.05%, I don't think they'd be writing headlines about how mortgage rates are plummeting. So again, they're looking for clicks, they're looking for your attention. But if you're the average homeowner and you're seeing these headlines, more homeowners are behind on their payments, delinquencies are on the rise, mortgage applications plummet, and you didn't know any better, you would think we're in a huge housing recession. That's not the case. Home prices are still increasing year over year, and that's expected going forward. For example, if you were looking at buying a home for, say, $810,000 right now with current mortgage rates, and you said rates are too high, I'm going to wait for rates to drop. Say you wait 2 years and rates go from, I'm going to throw out a number, 6.75% down to 5.5%. That $810,000 home that you could buy today with a 6.75% rate, if you compare that monthly payment to 2 years later when the rates might be 5.5, maybe they're not, who knows? But let's just say for this example, they are. The rates drop from 6.75 to 5.5 over the next 2 years. During that same time period, if home prices appreciate 4 to 5%, that $810,000 home is now going to be selling for $900,000. If you're making the same down payment in 2 years as you'd be making today, your monthly payment would actually be a few dollars higher per month 2 years from now at that 5.5 rate than if you bought it for the lower price point at the higher rate today. So by waiting for the rate to come down, one, that's going to put more pressure on prices to increase and bring more homeowners, potential homeowners back into the market, and it's going to drive prices higher. And now you're going to be paying more on the price, which is going to completely offset, most likely, the drop in rate and maybe even end up with a higher payment than you could have today at the higher rate. The best part is if you buy now at the higher rate, lower price, you can refinance, assuming you still qualify in 2 years, and get that 5.5 rate anyway, and save, in this example, you'd be saving $500 a month off your original mortgage payment. So by waiting, you're not saving any money, you're actually paying more on the price point, and you're getting the lower rate, but you could have the lower rate anyway if you bought now. So don't pay attention to all the headlines. Think about it logically. What I usually tell people is the best time to buy is when it's right for you personally. Don't try to time the market. You're not going to come out ahead in the long run. Historically speaking, home prices are increasing year over year. If you look at the long term, yes, there's blips along the way, but it's very hard to time that, and they're very few and far between. You're better off buying when it's right for you personally. So one, do you have the need? Do you want to own a home? Two, can you afford the monthly payments at the prices and rates that are currently available? And three, do you have the upfront cash or access to it to get a house? So down payment, closing costs, prepaid items. If you're comfortable with the payments, you have the upfront cash, and you have the desire and you want to own a home and you understand the long-term benefits, then buy now. Don't wait and try to time the market. It's probably not going to work out in your favor financially in the long run, and you may even get priced out of the market depending on how quickly home prices go up. Give me a call. I'd be happy to go through your numbers with you and talk about what you're qualified for. That way you can make an informed decision without looking at all these crazy headlines and getting scared. Look at the personal numbers that you have and see if now is the right time.